Welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joined with other host,
Karen.
And for today, or for this episode, we are going to be talking about Paleface Swiss.
Yes.
Along with, I don't have them on the spreadsheet.
So it was Stick to Your Guns and Nasty.
Yeah, Nasty being the first opener and Stick to Your Guns.
Yep.
I will update our spreadsheet right after this.
Yeah, don't do it now.
This was Saturday, April 26, 2025 at Thalia Hall here in Chicago. It was the last stop on Paleface Swiss's North America tour in 2025. Which going into it, I know you had been speculating that I wonder if this was the last stop because they can just fly right out of Chicago back home to Switzerland.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I think when we saw Trivium, I was like, oh, I bet Chicago's the last stop because...
International flights and whatnot.
International flights, like you could just fly home. So it makes more sense than being like Montana or some shit.
I guess, but I mean, you're probably getting a connection in New York or something, right?
Well, maybe. Or, I mean, they have
or
straight
Atlanta.
through.
Do they from Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if they do, but like there are flights that are straight through.
But according to Paleface Swiss, during one of their talking moments that we'll talk about here in a little bit, sure enough, they did say the same thing. Like, we love flying into Chicago. We love flying out of Chicago. We always want to play in Chicago. You guys have some of the best like performances we have. Chicago's just such a great fucking city to play in. So like, we just love it. And so sure enough.
And they mentioned that, this I'm a little confused on because I don't know how bands do things, but they said that their gear is stored in Chicago.
Did they say that?
Yeah. So
interesting.
I don't know if that just means it's shipped in and stored here until they get here, because there's no way they have two sets of everything.
I mean, some of it maybe. They probably take like the bass, like the main drum kit, the main guitars with them, but the amps, you can probably just buy another pair of amps.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is probably cheaper just to rent a storage unit here in the States than trucking that shit back and forth across the pond.
So I wonder how many international bands do that.
I bet there's, honestly, to me, that makes sense to do.
It does.
Find a location, store your shit. Like, amps can't be that much, so just buy an extra set of amps and throw those there.
Yeah.
Lighting, you're probably renting that sound, like the main sound equipment you're also renting, but your like main amp that you're using, probably not, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of know that aspect of things. But anyways, I guess I was right on them, why they come to Chicago.
You were. Real quick, though, we haven't said anything about ticket prices. Let's do that real quick. Ticket prices for this were $27 with $7.71 in fees and 27 cents in tax. 29% basically fee rate. Not too bad, really.
Yeah, it's not bad. I did see on another like advertisement for a show. I can't remember. I think it was when I was looking at Thalia Hall for things. Chicago has a 1.5% entertainment tax that's charged to all their tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that in the fees then, or is it a tax?
I don't know if that's the tax or the fees.
Because 27%, that's not 27%, 27 cents. This is why I love keeping the tax on here and just breaking it out.
But it doesn't make sense for some of the other shows that we saw at like 12 cents at House of Blues.
Right, and
like,
some of them are like $4 and
so I don't know,
16 cents.
I don't know where that's charged. If it's in the fee rate or if it's in, I don't know how it's charged.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
That's kind of stuff. I knew that there was an entertainment tax. I never knew how much it was.
Yes, there's definitely an entertainment tax because we get that on like on Spotify and Netflix and all that shit, that like your subscription services. There's definitely an entertainment tax there that gets tacked onto everything.
Yeah.
Which is a little annoying, but also like whatever. I don't know.
But also I think we talked about on other shows where like if we see a band in a different city, we're like, oh, the fees aren't that bad. And I'm like, oh, it's probably the Chicago entertainment tax. But I guess I didn't realize it was only 1.5%.
Yeah.
I figured it would be.
And I also don't know where that falls into the tax versus fees because the fees are actually pretty consistent in terms of percentages. Well, not really.
No, not really.
They jump all over the place. But I don't know. I like keeping them separate. I like looking at the numbers and tracking it over time. The biggest example for me is definitely that Ghost show that we saw at Northerly Island with them and Amon Amarth, seeing like the jump in price for that versus their other shows. And I don't know if we'll see Ghost this year, but if we do, we'll track those numbers as well to see what's different. Again, like it depends on where you're sitting versus you know, if you're in the seats or if you're in the pit and whatnot. So I don't know. I enjoy it. So any hoodles. Thalia Hall. This is a venue I have wanted to go to for quite some time, honestly.
I've heard about it. Yeah, I guess I didn't know anything about it until this show was announced there. But I had heard like, oh, have you, like a lot of people say like, have you been to Thalia Hall? And it's like, nope.
That's basically all it is for me. Like if I talk to somebody who goes to a bunch of shows like us or who's into music like we are, live music in particular, and you tell them, hey, I've been to a lot of shows. I like this venue. I like this venue. I saw this show at this venue. They always somehow ask you about Thalia Hall. Like, have you seen a show at Thalia Hall? Or somehow Thalia Hall will always come up. And I've always said, I haven't seen the show there. And every fucking person I talk to and I say I haven't seen the show at Thalia Hall, their response is the same. It's like, oh my God, you need to see something at Thalia Hall. You need to go to Thalia Hall. Thalia Hall, you need to go there. It's so fucking good. And I've always been like, all right, I mean, I want to go there, but I've never been there. Last year, around this time, I think, maybe later, I don't know, whenever it was, the Keening was in town at Thalia Hall.
Oh, were they? Okay.
And
that'd be a cool vibe there.
We
actually,
missed
for the
it.
Keening.
It would have been, yeah. And we missed it. And I was like, fuck, I wish I would have seen that announcement before. Like, it was after the show was over.
Oh, okay.
And I think I saw their, like, Instagram post, like, hey, great night in Chicago last night or something like that. I was like, God damn it, how did we miss this?
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been good now going to Thalia Hall and seeing it.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say, like, our Instagram's getting pretty full of who we follow, and sometimes I don't see things right away.
There is that, because every time we go to a show and see a new band, we end up following them afterwards.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it kind of gets not overloaded, but, yeah.
It does, though, because it doesn't come up. Like, their posts don't come up because it's the same posts all the time. So.
Joining a mailing list, I think, is the best way for us to find new shows, because then they post to their like mailing list. So we do have a shared email between us, not just this podcast email, but a family email, right? And that's where all this shit goes to. And I'm on there every day scrolling through, looking at stuff. I just unsubscribed to Bands in Town. I fucking hate Bands in Town now, because they're just like, I hate their app. Like they send like, here's an announcement from this band.
Yeah.
It's like, part of the first sentence, click here for more, which then takes you to the app, which doesn't take you to that post. Like, I fucking hate Bands in Town.
Shitty.
It's also owned by Live Nation, so fuck them, I think.
Right.
So,
Anyways, let's talk about Thalia Hall. Sorry.
Yeah, getting back to Thalia Hall. So we finally made it to Thalia Hall.
It's like on 18th Street or something over in Pilsen.
Yeah, it's in Pilsen. So to me, like jumping ahead a little bit, this is a bit of a knock for me for the venue, is it's not very convenient to get to.
Not with transit.
Not with public. Yes, not with public transit.
Yeah.
We took an Uber there and back home. I think there was a bus.
There was a bus that we were going to take, like the number 18 bus from our location. It would made most sense.
It's on Roosevelt, so like even the brown, green, and orange line have a stop that lets off there, so you can easily take the train there and then take the bus over.
Yeah.
And then it's still like a half a mile walk, I think.
It's
from
a little,
the venue.
a few blocks walk or something. It's not that bad.
Which really, not that bad.
No.
It was a bit chilly the night that we went, so I mean, I hate fucking April weather.
Yeah. Especially at the end of April, like
God
to go
damn it.
from 70 degrees down to 40 again is like shitty.
I fucking hate April weather.
Yeah.
Spring is the worst fucking season.
I feel like Chicago's way worse though than Iowa with that too, because like we don't warm up until June.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating.
Spring's the worst. I'd rather have blistering cold and just have it
And
be
then
cold
have it be hot.
than be like 70 then 40 then 70 then 40. I fucking hate. Whatever. We're not here to talk about the weather.
We're old.
So yeah, it's not the most convenient to get to. Yeah. Even if we weren't living, down here in the South Loop or whatnot currently, like even if we were up north, it still wouldn't be convenient.
No. Up north would be worse, I think.
But again, you could take the red line down to Roosevelt, take the bus over.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the bus when we went on this Saturday night, it was like 30 minutes for the next bus to show up or some shit.
Yeah, like 27 minutes or something. So it must run every 30 minutes or something. But
public transit in Chicago, I used to think was amazing. It's kind of shitty, honestly, especially on the weekends.
Yeah.
So we ended up taking an Uber over there. I do love the neighborhood, the Pilsen neighborhood.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
So many small little mom and pop restaurants and shops going on. We ended up getting dinner ahead of time before the show, like a block from the venue at the Tonk, T-O-N-K, Tonk.
Tonk, I would say.
The Tonk?
Yeah.
It's like a barbecue joint almost.
I wonder if it's like honky tonk.
Maybe. That makes more
barbecue.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good food.
It was good food.
There were a bunch of metalheads in there going to the show. Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, like, because we shared like a plate of brisket or something. It was a nice serving because we
with the side and the hot link.
I can't remember that place in Milwaukee that we go, but like you get like 2 slices of brisket.
Yeah, I can't remember. I do love going to there, especially when we go to the Pfizer Forum. It's that not the bird joint, the barbecue joint right on the corner there.
I can't remember what it is right now.
Smoke Daddy, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
There's one in Indianapolis too we found somehow just wandering around.
Yeah.
Not Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, just over the border in Indiana. But anyways, I thought it was a great place. Like, if we were closer to that location, like, I would definitely go over there all the time just to, like, and I heard, like, Pilsen tacos are really, really good. We didn't find a taco. Well, the taco place that we saw was, like, super busy. And then there was another taco place that had a sign, just handwritten sign on the door, sold out.
Yeah.
So
I've had tacos or a quesadilla or something over in the Pilsen neighborhood. And yeah, the Mexican food in the Pilsen neighborhood is fucking, the one time I had it was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Mexican fan, honestly.
Yeah.
In terms of the food. So, but yeah, the neighborhood's super fucking sweet, and the building when you go into it is just this old sort of rundown building. All right, I don't know the band members' names that well, especially the lead singer for Paleface Swiss, but Mark, I think is his name.
I think it goes by Zelly.
It's Mark, but his real name might be Mark, but Zelly, whoever.
Yeah.
The lead singer for Paleface Swiss. I don't know if you noticed when we walked in, the buses
outside.
were out there. He was
Yeah.
just outside hanging out
Yeah.
with the fans, taking
Yeah, he was
photos
taking
and
photos
chatting
and
with
stuff.
them.
I saw him, but I felt awkward being like, can we have a photo? Like, I don't know. Maybe we need to get better at that.
Well, it's also kind of weird because, like, when you walk in, he walked downstairs,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming is where the green room was.
Probably.
And then the rest of everybody else went through security and walked up the stairs to the main floor.
Yeah.
And like I said, the buses were out there. He's standing there. The first time I saw Paleface Swiss was the first time both of us did. Was last year at Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Yeah.
And we were in the back of the second stage while we saw them. And the only thing I remember is his bleach blonde hair and sort of the fishnet shirt that he had on.
Yeah.
And I was like, you do not look like somebody who's singing the music. I don't expect your look to be singing this music.
Right. And I had known about Paleface Swiss music because I'd listened to them on playlists and stuff. And I was like, I think I told you, like, oh, we should go I just want to go check out one song and then we'll leave. And, like, once we got
I didn't
in
think
there,
I'd like it. It was metal. I assumed it was like metalcore or some shit, or death metalcore or something. I don't know. We ended up I loved their set.
Yeah, me too.
At Milwaukee Metal Fest. But what I'm trying to say here is we were standing in the back and, like, he didn't look who I expected him to look like. His look did not sound like the music I expected him to make.
Yeah, 100%.
And he's standing out there as we're walking, finishing a cigarette, talking to the fans, walking in, super fucking nice talking to the fans, even though we didn't interact with them. We're just, bystanders here. And we're much closer to him now. Maybe we're like 5 feet from him. And it's like, you're a lot older than I remember you. Like, I thought you were like a 14-year-old kid when you were up on stage at Milwaukee Metal Fest when I was in the back. No, he's a lot older than I expected.
I honestly thought he was like 21 when we saw him at Milwaukee Metal Fest too. So,
and we saw him here a lot closer. I was like, oh yeah, you're a lot older than I thought you would be. But that was kind of cool, just seeing him out, like, hanging out outside the bus. And not being a dick or a douche or anything, just being super nice to the fans.
Yeah.
And, like, the woman who was there seeing him, like, she walked in front of us and she was, like, so giddy and like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that. And, like, it was awesome to see, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take much for you as an artist to just take a moment and say hi and whatnot. And he did that and it made her fucking night, I assume. So,
yeah,
at least that moment for sure.
Yeah.
But we get in, we go through security, we go up the stairs. Our tickets were on will call. This wasn't Ticketmaster, this was TicketWeb. So when there's a will call option, I always select will call, hoping to get physical tickets.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore though.
They do not. And I usually put in the comments on our spreadsheet. Let's see if I did it this time. I did not. But most of the times, if there's a additional charge when you do will call, that typically means there's a
like
fee,
a physical ticket.
like a physical ticket you're getting associated. Yeah, you're going to get a printout. So we have a show coming up where it was like $3 per ticket, basically.
So we might be getting an actual ticket.
So we just go to the box office, you give your name, and they give you a physical ticket.
Oh, cool.
So my
we haven't
hope
gotten
is
a physical ticket in a long time.
it's been a bit, yeah. So the hope is we'll get one for that show. The hope was here with will call, we'll just say, hey, we'll get a ticket. No, we walked up, told them our name. They looked it up on the phone. Like, oh, yep, here you are, 2 people. You're good to go. So, whatever. It is what it is. I also don't remember if this was a 18-plus show or not.
I didn't show my ID to anybody.
I didn't show I was thinking the same thing.
But we're old, so.
They also had a table right behind where we got our tickets scanned of people giving wristbands and checking IDs for drinking.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that. So.
A lot of times it's reversed where those people are sort of in the line through.
Yeah, the first person you see in the line.
You do that to get your wristband, and that's like you are now allowed to drink. And typically they check everybody.
Yeah.
This was more of like, if you wanted to, just show up and talk to them.
Yeah. Which used to, I mean, you probably remember, it used to drive me nuts.
It did.
I don't
used to
drink.
hate that.
I don't drink. And like, I'm like, why do I need to show you my ID to stand in a crowd? But I get it now. I mean, I get the whole thing of like, check them once, then you know how to do it at the bar or whatever.
But most of the times, honestly, when I don't get one and then I end up walking up to the bar and like, hey, can I get a drink? I'm like, oh yeah, you're old enough. We'll give you a drink. Yeah. But do you have a wristband on? I'm like, no, I don't. And like, oh, that's cool. Show me your ID real quick and I'll give you a wristband. Yeah. So even at the bar, they do have it as like a secondary check. So it's good. But yeah, 100% that's what it's for.
Yeah.
In any case, we walk into the main show floor from here. So you go up the stairs. You're in this little platform area. And then you walk through these French doors on either side, left or right. And you just walk in. And you're on the floor instantly. And it's a big ass room.
Yeah, like, it's just like a big, like an old school style, like theater room with no seats.
Right,
That's
no
what I
seats.
thought of it as.
It looked like a dance floor. To me, it reminded me, I think I told you last night when we saw the show, that it reminded me of Aragon, like a smaller Aragon.
Yeah, yeah.
But thinking about it more, it honestly reminded me more of a smaller rave. It reminded me of the main ballroom. Yeah. Just very, very small. Yeah.
But I mean, Aragon and the Rave are very similar, just different oval shapes.
Sure. Yep. That's true. That's true.
A little bit.
So you have like the stage in front of you, your big floor, just a flat floor, and then around the perimeter, there's sort of a raised up area as well that kind of loops around.
Yeah.
This one was very small. They did have a balcony. We didn't go up to the balcony. It looked kind of small, honestly. Also, I noticed from basically the center stage in the balcony, there was like the front of house up there. There's also a front of house on the ground.
I saw the one downstairs after we saw the one upstairs too.
Yeah, I thought it was all upstairs, but no, they had like two front of houses, one downstairs and one upstairs. Yeah. I also noticed they had like a little cutout in the wall behind in the center that maybe at some point they had used that as a projection room.
I saw that too, like above the upstairs soundstage.
Yeah.
No, I saw that too, and I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, I wonder if they show movies here or something.
Yep. Or at least they used to back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vic used to as well. Like that was one of my when we first moved to Chicago. That was one of my favorite things to do, is to go to the Vic on just I think any night really when they didn't have a performance. Yeah. It was like a $5 movie night, and you just go there. Like showings were late, so I went to see like 10 Cloverfield Lane once. I remember that movie, and it was like 10 p.m. I just went, paid $5. Beers were only like $5 as well. This was way back, almost 10 years ago now.
The one time that I went with you was like an afternoon though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I only went with you once.
I don't remember that.
I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember what we saw, but like it was in the afternoon.
Yeah, and it was just basically like felt like it was just a bed sheet hung up that they were projecting it on.
Possibly.
But I don't know. I love it. The building was sort of run down, had that old sort of aesthetic to it. The paint on the walls looked like it was chipping.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had some like boxes up by the stage as well.
Yeah.
They were much lower than other venues we'd been to. Like the first level box was basically just above my head level.
Yeah.
Normally they're a little higher than that. And they're kind of staggered and whatnot. I think when we walked in, I told you a friend of a friend got married there at Thalia Hall. And he's one of the people I was talking to. He was like, you need to go see a fucking show at Thalia Hall. I don't know. I walked in and I was instantly like, holy fuck, this place is amazing.
Yeah,
I love this place.
I liked it. But I mean, the bad thing is I looked through all their announcements so far and they have no metal.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But then again, it kind of sucks to get there.
Yeah.
But I would definitely go back. It's just they need to announce something or have something there that we want to see.
Yeah. Thinking about the venues here in Chicago right now, honestly, this is probably my favorite venue.
Yeah.
Of all the venues in Chicago, this is my favorite. It's not convenient to get to. They don't necessarily have a lot of shows that we like to go to there. Right. But if there's something that's going to be there, I'm definitely going to go try to check it out. Like this venue is fucking awesome. I prefer this venue over House of Blues, hands down.
For sure. Yeah.
Like I think it's roughly the same size capacity wise as House of Blues.
I think it's half of the capacity of what House of Blues lists as.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to do a whole 666 on the capacity of House of Blues, but.
This is maybe the Metro then?
Probably about the Metro. Just a different layout.
Yeah, just a different layout. All right, I'll have to check out the venue sizes. Yeah. It's tough to say what it's a medium-sized venue, but there's a lot of medium-sized venues here in Chicago that like you can have a small medium, a medium, and a large medium, which is a weird way to say medium is this wide range, right? But you can't just do like small, medium, large here in Chicago. There's a bunch of different.
There are a lot of different sizes.
All over the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, this venue's so fucking good.
It is
and
really
even
cool.
though it's a pain in the ass to get to, I would suffer that pain to see a show here.
I mean, and Ubers weren't that bad. Like getting there cost us like maybe $12, and then going back.
That's from Roosevelt though, also.
From Roosevelt. I mean, even if we would have gotten an Uber from our place, it probably wouldn't have
But
been.
I mean, for people like way up north.
Oh, I
like
see.
it might not be $12, but
I see what you're
from
saying.
Roosevelt,
Yeah.
like distance wise here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mind.
Like, yes, we did get on the Uber at the Roosevelt Red Line station.
Yep.
But coming back home, at first it was gonna be like $35, and I'm like, fuck no. But that's because everybody's ordering an Uber right then.
Yeah, so you looked at that, and it was like there were just a fuck ton of people hanging outside. So we were gonna walk a block away or so from the venue to see, like, all right, will that drop the prices?
Yeah.
Because it's a geolocation, right? A geolock or whatnot.
Yeah.
And we end up right in front of the Tonk again. Yeah, Tonk. And I was like, you know what? Let's just fucking pop in here. I'll buy a beer here. It's going to be cheaper than buying a beer at the show, which I didn't have any beer at the show.
Yeah.
Help drop my drinks per show down to almost 2, which is my goal.
Because you only count the ones you have in the venue, not before.
Because that
or
one
after.
does not count. Right, exactly. Any case, we get in there. We have a beer. Live music going on there as well. Really, really good fucking jazz sort of
It was
vibe.
like jazzy, yeah.
And I think the song that we walked into playing, one of the people on saxophone, he wrote that number.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
I think they named that or said that at the end.
Oh, okay.
They were, I can't remember their name. I wish I knew their name. They were really good. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so we had a pint there. The same waitress we had before for dinner. Bartender, yeah. And she knew us right away. She's like, "Oh, hey, welcome back. What do you guys want?"
Yeah.
So we got that, and then I think Uber was like $12, $13.
Yeah, like $13 or something. Yeah.
So almost like half the price.
It dropped a lot. Yeah, like
So,
by $20. Yeah.
You know what? Go to a local restaurant or bar after the show around the venue. Have a pint, hang out for a little bit. Hopefully, there's live music. Check that out, and then get cheaper rides back.
Yeah.
So that wasn't too bad.
We should probably do that more often when we go places. But sometimes there's nowhere open to go. But if we want to take an Uber back, just like jump in somewhere, have an $8 beer, and then.
I also think it helped that it was Saturday night that we went to this. Like, if this was like a Tuesday night, maybe not.
Yeah, there might not be anything.
Especially
open,
the music.
so.
Maybe not the music, but yeah.
So really quick before we get into the bands, I want to talk about the sold out aspect of the show.
Yeah, so this was a sold out show, right?
Sold out, yes.
Or advertised or listed as a sold out show.
Yeah, well, I even saw Thalia Hall like last week say 50 tickets left, so I think it was an actual sold out show. We've been to many sold out shows at the Aragon, even the Vic, the Riviera.
Yep.
At House of Blues.
Yep, definitely House of Blues.
Other places probably too.
And even the last show at the Aragon was Meshuggah, Cannibal Corpse, and Carcass. Yep. That wasn't sold out.
That wasn't sold out, no.
It felt sold out, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
This was sold out.
This was sold out. So, Aragon and House of Blues is owned by Live Nation. This is not owned by Live Nation. So, sold out here was, the floor is pretty full, but there was still room to move a little bit, jostle a little bit. We could have stood way in the back, had plenty of room if we wanted to, that sort of thing. If you go to House of Blues or Aragon with a sold out show, you are standing like this or back by the bar and you're not moving.
Yeah, and then back in the House of Blues in particular has shitty fucking sound back by the bar.
Yeah.
Last time we were there, Chelsea had Grin, everybody just was running their fucking mouths, chattering the entire time back there by the bar, which
and you have to watch the show on a TV.
Right. Yeah. And fine, if you want to be back by the bar and hang out, I can see that as an argument at a show being like, well, I'm back. I went to the bar area and all the way back to listen to music, but also to hang out with friends and chat. If you want to be up front with the music and not hear me chat, you should be up front. Mm-hmm. I can kind of sort of see that argument, honestly.
I see both sides, yeah.
But at the same time, you can't do that at that venue. There's literally no room to move forward.
Yeah.
If you try to go on the floor, there's already people shoulder to shoulder crammed in there, like you said, sardines.
We watched Signs of the Swarm and my arm, I couldn't even raise my arm to put the horns up or anything. I was so,
because if you do, you're going to end up pushing somebody out of the way, or I don't know. I do feel uncomfortable at those venues like that.
Yeah.
The Radius has been sold out before. It's been crazy packed, but there's room in the back to wander around.
Yeah.
And this particular show was pretty full, but there was a lot of room behind us.
Yeah.
And we were closer to the back. We weren't all the way in the back.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
The balcony also seemed like there was quite a few seats left that we could have gone to if we wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know how that works at the balcony, if it's a like a VIP experience or like a extra charge or something.
Yeah, we didn't even try to go up there.
Yeah, we didn't ask. Yeah,
I assumed we could have gone up there to see.
Potentially, yeah.
Because one thing we didn't talk about here at Thalia Hall is the bathrooms.
Oh,
when we were going into the bathroom, I heard somebody say, there's more upstairs. So I assumed we could have gone up. And I think somebody else said, oh, there's also a bar up there. So they had left.
Yeah.
But I guess before the band, or do you want to say anything else about the sold out?
No, basically what I'm trying to make a point of is I think Live Nation, my joke last night was Live Nation, if there's a hallway, they're going to sell that space. If there's, room by the bar, they're going to sell that space. Where these independent locations, yes, it's a sold out show, but they also maybe, in my mind anyways, it comes off as a patron buying a ticket to your show or to your venue, is you care more about the viewer experience than shoving in 50 more people or 100 more people to have a sold out show.
Yeah, and I think I said if this was a Live Nation show, they would have sold 200 to 500 more tickets to this show
on it
before selling it out.
500, probably 500.
And this felt sold, like it was sold out, but it felt comfortable. And I think you also said this of like, I don't enjoy going to those shows because the viewing experience as a patron, like it's not good.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is just a better experience from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
And not just like, I'm going to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Because the band's not making money on those ticket sales typically, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know how that all works.
I assume they just get the flat rate of here's what you do, and then the venue rakes in the ticket pricing, right?
I'm assuming.
I assume that's how that works.
Like, anyways, we're going to do a whole 666 on our thoughts on House of Blues, basically, is what's going to start the conversation, but it has to do with sold out shows.
Yeah, they oversell that shit way too much. Even honestly, Reggie's oversells their venue a lot.
I mean, Reggie's has to have a ticket cap, but I feel like they don't really have a ticket cap. I feel like it's just like however many we sell, we're going to sell.
We don't know how this aspect of the business and live music takes part, like how it all works, but some venues feel like they oversell it on purpose. Yeah. Thinking people won't show up maybe. Like that's what we were talking about of like maybe they're legally allowed to, because the same thing with airports and airplanes are legally allowed to oversell by 10% or something. I don't know. This though, even though it was sold out, was extremely comfortable all night long. This venue was so fucking good. Even the bathrooms that we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
So after Nasty, I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. And you're like, all right, I'll go with you. And we're walking trying to find it, and I see a door that says urinals and stalls with like a little arrow like this way. It's like, all right, let's walk in there. And there's a line of men and women just in line going into the same bathroom. And I think you even said as we walked in, you're like, oh, this is just like Madrid.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's like Spain.
Which when we were in Spain for the Metallica Takeover show, we went to a venue, like some theater there, and it's basically you walk in, there's a sink in the middle that everybody uses, and there's individual stalls on either side of the sink. It's men and women go in there, you do whatever the fuck you need to do. Just get in, get out,
like
wash
half the
your hands.
stalls are like a toilet and half of them are a urinal.
Yeah.
So
well, like, in Madrid, they were all, I think they were all...
No, because I almost walked into a stall and it was a urinal.
Oh, I don't remember that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
You probably just went to the other side.
I just used whatever I could find and just eat whatever.
It's all good.
This was slightly different where you'd walk in, sure enough, there's one sink that everybody uses. There were the old style Western swingy doors.
Yeah, like the saloon doors.
which blocked the 2 rows of urinals and then maybe like 8 stalls or something that you could share.
There was 3.
Oh, only 3?
Yeah, that's why the women were like lining up. And,
okay.
Like, because even the guys coming behind us, and they're like, oh, fuck, there's a line. Like, I have to pee so bad. And I was like, there's urinals open. Like, you don't have to wait.
Because I did stand in line too, and I was like, oh, fuck this. There's urinal. I can see the urinals. I'm going to go right there.
Yeah.
And as I think I walked in and they said that, I was like, there's more back here, guys. Come on. Like, just work your way through.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to wait in line for it with us women. But what's your thoughts on a unisex bathroom?
I'm fine with it. I don't give 2 fucks about it.
I don't care either.
It was kind of funny. The second time I went to the restroom, there was a man in the stall and a woman in the stall next to him. Oh. And I think she was on the phone talking. Oh. But she's like, hold on a second. And then she starts talking to the guy next to her. Like, do you have any toilet paper?
Oh.
And he's like, oh yeah, here, I'm struggling to get it out. So like, to me, that's weird. And then I heard her say something like, oh, never mind, somebody gave me a tampon or something. Like another person.
That would be a little awkward.
So to me, that's where I was like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm sitting there on the toilet and somebody next to me, it doesn't matter, male or female, don't fucking talk to me in the bathroom. Like, no, don't fucking do that shit. So that was weird. I'm not gonna lie, but you're gonna have that potentially in unisex, single sex, whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna possibly have that unless you have like your own individual room that you walk into.
I do like those we've been to some places that have, I mean, not concert venues, but we've been to like some restaurants and stuff that have
like unisex restroom.
Yeah, and it's like, but you have your own restroom.
Yes.
Like it's your own door. And
you
I
walk
like
in
those.
your door, it's ceiling, like nothing below. You can't see. Like I love those the most. Yeah. It's like a built-in porta potty that's much cleaner and whatnot.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, at first I was like, oh, this is kind of different for Chicago. Like you don't really, I mean, you see unisex restrooms, but not like where it's an open room with like multiple facilities to use.
Yeah.
It's more like unisex as in like, we don't care who you are, just like, and it's one door that closes, but
yeah.
Fuck.
One last comment about the venue and everything, because I mean we've been talking for like 30 fucking minutes about the venue.
And we thought this whole episode would be 30 minutes, and now we're 30 minutes in.
Before you're talking about the music, you mentioned like the long line of women waiting to use the 3 stalls. I will say it became very apparent to me early in the night. The male to female ratio was not a normal metal show.
Oh no, there was a lot more women.
So many fucking women at the show, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was unexpected for me to see so many fucking women at this show.
Yeah.
For music, I assumed, again, based off the Milwaukee Metal Fest. And honestly, I kind of forgot that show other than remembering and loving the performance.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about what their music sounds like. Paleface Swiss this is. We didn't even know Nasty and Stick to Your Guns.
Yeah, no.
Like we didn't even know they were playing. It was on the spreadsheet after all. So I don't know. It was unexpected, but really nice to see that so many women were out to see the music, which you don't see typically.
You don't see that. The thing that got me is, I mean, generally when we see people, like it's normally younger guys, which I mean, I guess I don't really think about that much. I'm just like, sometimes I do feel really old when there's younger guys, but these were younger women, and that's a little bit different psyche. Like where it's like, am I too old to be here? But no, I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, there's a lot more women here. This is awesome. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there are some other metal shows that we've been to that there's more women gravitating to, but not in this scenario. So.
No, for sure. Like this particular subgenre of metal.
Deathcore.
A metalcore, deathcore. Yeah. Especially, let's get into the first band, Nasty.
Yeah, let's just
They were definitely like a metalcore band, right? You would say?
Yeah. I think they're metalcore from like Belgium. I looked them up last night.
Oh, really? Belgian?
Yeah.
I got like English vibes from them based on the way they were talking and whatnot, but all right.
I got German vibes from the way they were talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
I got English from Nasty, and I got American from Stick to Your Guns. I assumed they were American.
Oh, I didn't look up Stick to Your Guns. I'll look them up though.
And when we were at Tonk, we ran into the first time at Tonk. The people next to us were asking us about, because I was wearing a Behemoth sweater that I wear.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, Behemoth is awesome. I love them. I've seen them a couple times. We just started a conversation and whatnot. And they were going to the show. We were talking to them. And they had mentioned the first band being a hardcore band.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I'm not going to
I know, I kind of thought that too. I was like, we saw a lot of hardcore last year, and it's not really our thing. And
it's more my thing than your thing for sure.
Yeah.
But I knew we weren't going to be in the crowd because your foot was sort of acting
so we
up.
didn't really talk about that. But like a week ago, I stepped wrong, and like my foot's just, I can't put pressure on it, so it kind of sucks, especially going to concerts and stuff. So I knew in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stand off to the side. I don't want to be in the crowd. I just want to be kind of off to the side, sort of thing, which sucks because this is my music. This is where I want to be, in the middle of the crowd. So, but yeah, so I don't know where you were going with that. But.
I was just saying, like, I was like, fine, whatever, it's hardcore. I do enjoy hardcore. I don't like being in the hardcore pits with the Karate Kid bullshit and whatnot, but we weren't. So I was like, whatever, this will be fine. But they took the stage, and why don't you read off Nasty's set list for us?
They start with Reality Check, At War with Love, Hell of a Show, Chaos, Ultimate, FTW, which probably means Fuck the World, My Brain Went Terribly Wrong, The Boys, 666 AM. Then they ended with Total Domination.
And so this is actually from the Minneapolis show, from Setlist FM. I did get a photo of the setlist. I haven't looked at it since. So I'd have to dig it up to find out if it matches 100%. I do remember The Boys being on the setlist.
And I remember Chaos, because that's the one that I saw when I looked at it. Like, oh yeah, you can read those at least. So
yeah, and this was 2 nights before our show. The show in between was Milwaukee at the Rave, and that set list on Setlist FM is much longer, which we'll get into why that is, which makes sense. Like if otherwise I would have used it, but the first time I did pull that, I was like, fuck, they played a long ass fucking set. And I was like, oh wait, nope, hold on, remember what happened at the show. But
with the hardcore aspect, their songs are, so they're like metalcore, but I think it's, remember our episode of like metalcore versus metalcore?
Like there's a different type of metalcore.
This in my mind is metalcore, not metalcore.
I don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean by that?
Where it's like, metalcore in my mind is like Wage War type music. Okay. Metalcore, like
with the pause.
With the pause is like hardcore, metal hardcore.
Okay. Yeah. So closer to maybe like
Dying Wish.
Oh, yeah, fine. All right.
I know you don't think Dying Wish is metalcore.
I was gonna say Hatebreed. Maybe like Hatebreed would be more the metal core.
Yeah, I guess Hatebreed.
To me, that's old school metalcore versus new school.
No, I could see that. Yeah, and they started in like 2006, so it'd be around that time period of like Hatebreed.
It would be, yeah.
Oh, I changed it to Stick to Your Guns. So,
what did you think of their set as a whole?
So I liked the music a lot. Okay. Obviously the energy is great and all that stuff. The crowd was super into it.
I agree.
Especially in the pit area. So we were off on stage right. And
yes, we were. I always have to think about those and like put my hands up. All right, this is left. This is left. This is right. We were on the left side, which is actually the right side. I always have to do that.
So there was a little bit less movement during Nasty in that area where we were.
Yes.
So compared to the pit, but I did see hardcore dancing in the pit. But you don't really like the we don't like the,
I did see that
Karate Kid and all that stuff.
The windmills and whatnot.
So I felt like the crowd was doing very, very was into it for the first opener. But the thing that, and this turns me off on a lot of bands that I did not like, is between every single fucking song, the vocalist would get up there and be like, no, come on, get up. They're like, come on, show me some energy. Like, Chicago's great. Like, show me some energy. I know In Flames does it. I know, like, I saw Vomit Forth do it. Like, all this stuff. Like, bands do it. But when the crowd already has energy, like, egg that on. Don't be like, you're not fucking moving. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and they did do that a lot. Like, let's show me some energy. Let's keep it going. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep it up.
They weren't saying keep it up. They were saying, come on, wake up. You show me some energy.
Yeah.
They were saying that. They weren't saying the whole now keep that pit moving. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a difference in my mind.
Yeah, I get that. I do. I'm fine with that bit. I did think the singer spoke a lot and did a lot of the banter and whatnot, and not just in between songs, in the middle of the fucking songs.
I was gonna say that too, where I was like, I didn't know if the song was over, or if it's just like a melody
this is like
part.
A guitar solo, and I'm out here just gonna continue ranting a little bit and whatnot.
I wasn't quite sure either.
That I wasn't the biggest fan of. I enjoyed the music, but I thought the energy on the stage was good. I thought the energy in the crowd was good. Could it have been better? Sure. You could have.
But it's the first opener.
It's the first opener. Yeah. People aren't necessarily here to see you. So I get what they were trying to do and why they were doing what they were doing and saying what they were saying. To me, the thing that not necessarily turned me off, the thing I didn't like as much was that talking in the middle of your fucking song aspect of things. There were a few crowd surfers as well. That was kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know. There was something about it that threw me off. And maybe there was a guy in the crowd as well who had the Slaughter to Prevail mask on. Yeah. People go apeshit for Slaughter. I know you really love Slaughter. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Slaughter. I think they're overrated. I'm not a fan of Slaughter to Prevail. So when I see people who are just like apeshit for Slaughter, I'm like, there's better bands out there. You know that, right? Lamb of God, let's wear a Lamb of God shirt or some shit. Yeah. I don't know. So maybe that like threw me off a little bit. I was like, fuck, this is going to be like Slaughter. This is going to be shit.
Oh, so you thought the whole concert was going to be like Slaughter?
I don't know. I was thrown off early on in terms of like, this isn't going to be great. I'm not going to enjoy this. So maybe that also influenced my mindset around their set. But the crowd banter during the song.
Yeah. I was a little confused on the Slaughter mask at Paleface Swiss, but I'm like, whatever, do whatever you want to do.
It's like, your band you like, wear the mask. Like, you bought it, like, go out there, show your support for the music you love, which we always talk about. Like, support the music you love, wear the music you love.
I guess I don't know what any difference of wearing a mask to a different band, or a mask that for a band to a different band is any different than wearing a shirt for a band to a different band.
Exactly. So I don't know. To me, though, I don't know. The music was fine. It wasn't great. Nothing stood out to me as like, oh my God, this is great music. The performance was pretty above average, I would say. Their performance was above average. Yeah. Except for that crowd banter, as I said. Yeah. So I don't know. I did enjoy it. We went in not even knowing it was going to be Nasty who was playing. So I knew nothing about Nasty.
So I looked up the bands like a week ago.
Okay.
But I didn't look up who they were. I just knew the name. So that's all I knew.
But that's about it for me. It was an average set. It wasn't anything to write home about.
It was a good opener.
It was fine.
Yeah. It was pretty quick too. I mean, openers are pretty quick.
It was like right at 30 minutes. Yeah. Which was with all the crowd banter. Maybe that's why it was in between the songs or during the songs, right?
Because they're like, we have shit to say and we can't say it because our set is 10 songs long. Right. And
which, as we found out, it probably would have been fine if they went over a little bit. Nobody would have given a shit because it seems like all these bands fucking love each other so much.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like, they're good friends.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything else for Nasty,
I'm okay.
don't have a whole lot more. So I guess let's move on to Stick to Your Guns.
So Stick to Your Guns played Such Pain, Severed Forever, Nobody, What Choice Did You Give Us, More Than Witness, Amber, Invisible Rain, Empty Heads, Keep Painting Flowers, Spineless, and they ended with Against Them All. And they were touring on the Keep Planting Flowers album.
Their newest album, right.
Yeah.
That's their tour they're supporting.
I don't know anything about their music. I just know that was like their backdrop, and they said it multiple times that they were touring on that.
They did because they're like, we have a new song off our album. Keep planting your flowers, and we'll keep saying that all night long. They say it multiple times. Yeah. There was a lot of crowd banter here as well.
Yes.
I enjoyed the crowd banter here more than I did.
I did too, because it was in a different way.
It wasn't that get up, show me your energy. There was some of that, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't constant like, come on.
Yeah, it was more encouraging more of what was already happening, where like it was like, okay, like let's see this whole floor turn into a circle pit, or let's do a wall of death, and like you know, shit like that, like encouraging what's already happening, not being like, come on, give me some energy, like sort of thing. So
see, I guess I didn't get that vibe again, as I said earlier, but this did feel more just shooting the shit, not more of like, this is what I say to get energy. This is more of like,
it was conversational.
That's a good way. Conversational. Yeah. Definitely a lot more conversational.
We've said it already. This is the last show on their tour.
Yep.
Both bands brought up so much, like, you know, thank you, Paleface, for, you know, bringing us along, you know, that sort of thing. Just the normal that you normally have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What did you think of their music, I guess, overall? Did you enjoy their music?
I enjoyed it, yeah. It was very core aspect.
I enjoyed their set more than Nasty, for sure. Okay. I liked their music a lot more. I don't know what it is. Maybe it felt more, I don't know. It wasn't as corey to me. Yeah,
it's... So according to Wikipedia, it's like hardcore punk.
Okay. I can see that.
I don't like punk music. Yeah. But I didn't really get the punk aspect. But I definitely got the core aspect. But it wasn't like, in my mind, it wasn't necessarily metalcore.
Yeah, I didn't get the metalcore vibe for sure. Kind of metalcore. A little bit at times, yeah.
I don't know. It was hard to put a pin in exactly what it was. But
it felt like like when you just said what genre was it? Hardcore punk?
Hardcore punk.
It did feel sort of like an older sort of hardcore kind of punk, even some punky vibes to it. I didn't get a whole lot of punk. I guess I got a little bit now that you say that.
The only thing I can think of now that I said punk, is the guitarist gave off punk vibes, like with the jump. I feel like punk music has this stage aspect that is very similar across multiple punk bands. And it's how the guitarist jumps, and they jump with like their legs like come all the way up to, or their knees come all the way up to their chest, and that's what the guitarist was doing. But anyways,
I don't know. I remember liking the music. Again, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is great music.
Yeah.
So it kind of continued that thought through the night of like, I'm not gonna have a fun night, which is weird because I knew I had such a blast during Paleface Swiss and Milwaukee Metal Fest. So I was like, why am I not enjoying tonight? Like, I was honestly kind of sort of dreading Paleface Swiss.
Oh, really?
As the night progressed.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, why am I dreading this? I know I saw them. I know they put on a great show. So why am I sort of not like angry or not sort of like hesitant about what's going to come forward? It's just sort of like I wasn't in the mood for it type thing.
Well, I'm sorry that you're dreading it.
No, it's like, fine. It's just what it is. Like I don't know these two bands, Stick to Your Guns or Nasty. So I was like, let's go and see what's happening. And even Paleface, I remember seeing their set before and loving it. I just never followed up and listened to their music again. Okay. So I didn't even know what their music was like going into it.
You kind of forgot what it was like.
It was metalcore. I did get some metalcore vibes from this, but it wasn't as much as the first band, where to me everything sounded very similar. There was some uniqueness between the tracks. Yeah. So it did give me some hope for Paleface Swiss. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. Something was sort of
just off.
Meh.
Yeah.
But this band, the sound did feel like older metal, like early 2000s metal to me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it turns out, sure enough, they started roughly 20 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Which the lead singer brought up, like, hey, we were in Milwaukee last night, which you had mentioned to me at a time because they played
the basement stage.
Which seems weird. At the rave.
But there was another band, I can't remember who it was, on the ballroom.
At the ballroom? Okay.
So it kind of makes sense because I was like, why aren't they on the second what we call the second stage, which is like the second floor stage. But I wonder if it's just how like tickets work out and like the sound maybe like it works out better.
And the second stage is where we saw Paleface the first time in Milwaukee Metal Fest, and they packed that fucking room.
It was so packed.
And we've mentioned this as well, like having it in Milwaukee and then Chicago the very next night, like you're gonna have certain people who will travel to Milwaukee or from Milwaukee to Chicago, vice versa, right? Like we do that. We go to Milwaukee to see shows all the time. Yeah. So
which is crazy now that I think about it. The guy that we talked to at Tonk said he was closer to Milwaukee.
Yeah, he did say they were pretty close to Milwaukee.
But he said he had never seen Paleface before, so he didn't go to Milwaukee's show.
Maybe it was a scheduling conflict or something, so that we can make this work. I don't know. It's the last show of the tour. Let's go do that. It's going to be a special show.
We never asked him. That just dawned on my head right now. Like, why didn't you go to Milwaukee?
But the singer for Stick to Your Guns was like, hey, we started almost 20 years ago. We're old fucking men. We played Milwaukee last night. I bent over to pick up a water bottle and threw my back out as we're walking on stage, and Nasty came out and played a completely second set.
So they had to cancel their set in Milwaukee. Nasty came out and played again, which is why Brian alluded to the Milwaukee show has way more songs for Nasty on the set list than what Minneapolis did. But I kind of, before he even said that, I noticed, and you said that you didn't notice this at all.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the way home.
He was like holding one hand. He had a button-down shirt on and like a flannel on, and like he was holding one hand like all the time, like right at his stomach. And I thought he was moving like he was sick, like throw up sick sort of thing.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I kind of act like that when I don't feel well, like try to keep my hand on my stomach. Like, I don't know why. I guess it's just comfort or whatever. But then when he mentioned this, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's probably why he's holding his arm that way. And then I also saw twice in the night, like where he unbuttoned his shirt and like he had a brace on that he was like fixing.
So I didn't notice any of that. I didn't like before he said that, after he said like I threw my back out thing. Just a couple of weeks before this opening day for the Chicago Cubs.
This made me smile.
I threw my back out, bending over and opening my dresser drawer to get my earrings that I had just replaced. And I put those in and I tweaked my lower back, opening my fucking dresser drawer. And I was embarrassed to tell you about that. I went to the game and met up with a friend at the game, and I'm walking very slowly. He's like, hey, what's going on? You okay? And I explained what happened to him. And he's like, thank God it's not just me. I threw my back out a month ago, throwing away a piece of gum in the trash can. And I was like, holy shit, we're just like old men. And I thought, what happens? So my back fucking hurt for weeks.
Yes.
Like I was moving very, very slowly.
Yeah. You couldn't sit down. You couldn't walk.
Yeah, it
Nothing.
wasn't. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. And he's like, I bent over to pick up a bottle of water. That tracks. I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. I threw my back out. Yep, that tracks. Like, you just got to bend over just right, and boom, it's done. And you're up here the very next day jumping around, and he put up a lot of fucking energy.
He did, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you, you're lying. There's no fucking way you threw your back out. If you threw your back out, you're out for the fucking count for weeks, asshole. Like, that's not what happens. So either he's on extremely good painkillers.
I'm sure he was.
It's the last show of the night. Fuck it. Let's just put on the greatest show we can because I can rest afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he was lying. I don't think he was lying.
No.
It's probably a combination of those first two, right?
Yeah.
Like the adrenaline and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I understand where the fuck he's coming from for sure, which sucks.
I laughed about it because you did just do this and you were out for weeks. And I was like, he was out for like 20 hours, 24 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And he's back on stage
I
doing it all.
And the comment he made was like, do you know what these fucking assholes did? Referring to Paleface Swiss. They continued to fucking pay us for the show we didn't play. What fucking assholes these guys are. And I get where he's coming from. Like, and it comes out later, I think, to why that happened and why they did that with Paleface Swiss. Like, the relationship all three of these bands have is... I didn't know the relationship they had, and like clearly that's why they're like really good friends. It sounds like, and it appears from like an audience perspective, going in and hearing what they're all saying about each other.
Right.
But all in all, the energy in the crowd got better for this. Not better, but there was more energy.
There was more. It filled up more too. I feel like it was at the capacity by this point. Like,
I think so.
As full as it got throughout the night. So
they put on a great set. The sound was great. The performance was great. For a band I've never heard of or listened to, this is, of the three bands, or I guess outside of Paleface Swiss, them versus Nasty, this was for sure my favorite set over Paleface. Well, not, I'm saying that's so weird.
Yeah.
Of Nasty and Stick to Your Guns, I did prefer the Stick to Your Guns set better, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the set that I want to check out. Not set, but more music of theirs I want to hear for sure.
Yeah, I would check them out again.
I'm just assuming you don't have anything, so we'll go straight to Paleface. Why don't you read off their set list?
They start with Hatred, Suppressing Times, My Blood on Your Hands, Youth Decay, and with Hope You'll Be Damned, Nailed to the Tooth, The Gallow, Enough, Don't You Ever Stop, River of Sorrows, Please End Me, Pain, and then they ended with Love Burns. And Pain and Love Burns, I think, were like the encore.
I think so. It was sort of a...
fake encore.
It was clearly they're coming back. The lights didn't go up and anything like that.
And they had like a backing track thing playing,
This is from Milwaukee. This is the set list from Milwaukee. The other two are from Minneapolis. We couldn't find the Chicago set list. It wasn't up just yet. So this is what we're using. This seems about right.
No, I think so, yeah.
Their set seemed very short to me. It didn't seem like it lasted that long.
It was shorter, yes.
And there were a lot of talking points.
So you just went over the whole point on why they're all friends and all that stuff. That talking point got to me where I was like
angry or emotionally or
no. Like I was done with it.
Oh, you're done with the talking at that point?
Yeah, I was like, play another fucking song. Because basically they go into explaining like with Nasty, that was the band that got them into wanting to become a band.
That was like their biggest influence.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to hear, like Paleface. And I could see now in Paleface's music the Nasty aspects of it.
Yes, like with the rap aspect and all that stuff. Yeah.
So I could see where Nasty definitely influenced you. You can hear those two bands next to next and be like, oh, okay, you do have a similar vibe.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see, Nasty getting Paleface Swiss into the game or into the music industry and whatnot in terms of like their influence. And hearing those two side by side, be like, oh, definitely, I can see that.
And I realized that kind of, and I forgot to say it during Nasty, but I realized it a little bit during Nasty. I was like, oh, this has a little bit of rap aspect to it. And I knew that Paleface had a little rap aspect to it as well.
I completely forgot that. I did not know that, yeah.
I listen to Paleface on, I don't necessarily like go to like listen to Paleface on their own, but they come up on the playlist all the time.
And I'm a big fan of like the rap metal stuff. I love when you can meld those two together. Like Falling in Reverse, the first song of theirs I ever heard was like a rap metal, a rap song where we wove into the metal aspect. And I was like, holy fuck, this is good. I like this. We're going to see you at Rockfest. I can't wait to fucking hear this track. But that didn't turn out for other episodes.
Check out our Rockfest episode.
And as others might know by now as well,
that I'm sure everybody
came up
knows.
During the conversation at the talk with those folks that we met.
Yep. And then they go into talking about Stick to Your Guns. And when Stick to Your Guns did a European tour, they had Paleface support them.
Which with Paleface at the time was like a nobody band.
Nobody band,
like, I don't know when the fuck that happened. I don't know when that happened in their career, but sometime at a very early age of their career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Paleface has only been around since 2017, so it must have been like 2019-ish.
Maybe even like 2016, like when they're very, very. But it has to be after, I would assume.
Yeah, after they formed, which was 2017.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you can't like tour as a band.
That makes sense. I don't know.
But anyways, so like that's how the relationship between the three bands started, was this whole,
so it's like
whole aspect.
Nasty influenced Paleface, Stick to Your Guns trusted Paleface to fill that slot, and like we'll give you a chance to go on the road and get your name out there. Because I think a lot of small bands, when they're coming up, it's really going on tour that gets your name out there for other fans to help you grow.
Us, like a lot of bands that we listen to today, like as a main staple band, is because we saw them as an opener.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like there are times where I will listen to a band just out of the blue that I happen to find.
Yeah.
That's very, very rare. Yeah. For me, it's going to a festival and seeing them, or seeing them as an opener.
Yeah.
And I love that so much. Even seeing them as a headliner, it's like I've never heard of this band. It's on a metal like newsletter I get that they announced. It's in town. Let's go. We have nothing else going on. I'll go check it out. But you know what they're doing? They're bringing other bands I've never heard of with them that I'll then listen to. So that's a great thing when a bigger band reaches out to somebody who's young. Be like, let's go on fucking tour. Let's have some fun. And then you go out there, you get your name out there, and that's exactly what Stick to Your Guns did for Paleface. So I get that relationship. I love that. This tour makes so much more sense now from that lineup perspective.
Like how they're all put together,
which is such a great fucking thing. But by this point, when they're explaining that relationship, you're done with the
I wasn't
banter.
Done at that point, but then that automatically went into introducing everybody in the crew, which I appreciate that they do. I don't think crew members get enough credit for what they do for the bands as well. So when the band does thank them, I think it is fantastic. And then they went into...
But typically it's thank our crew, not thank every single member of our crew.
That's true, yeah.
Which this one was thank every member.
And that was pretty cool. It puts a personal aspect on it as well. And then it immediately went into introducing the entire band. Or like...
Was it though? Yeah. I thought the band came in like the next song.
No, I don't think so.
Was it like right after? Okay.
And so in my mind, all of this needed to be said, but separate it out between more music.
I did feel like the band was separated out. Maybe there was like a solo or something in there that I don't know.
Maybe.
The other thing to think of, this is the last tour.
It is, yeah.
So if we have seen them, ahead of time, did they thank every single member then, or was it they saved it for the last tour?
And it could have been. Which,
that's to me, then that's like extra special. Being like, hey, it's the end of the tour. Thank you all so much for doing what you did. Like this tour has been amazing because of the work you all did.
Yeah, and I'm saying I appreciate that they did that, and I think it is. It's a good thing. I just feel like it was a long lull between the music.
There was. I do remember when they did the band. I don't know. I can't remember being the crew and the band, but I do remember during the band, they were just sort of jamming. Like there was the drums going, doing their thing. And there was a point where Zelly's like, hold on, I need a drink. And then everybody just stops playing. And like, all right, we're going to wait for you to be back. That was kind of funny. I did like that bit. Yeah. But when getting to their music as a whole, when it started, I wasn't very fond of the music. It was definite metalcore music, the first couple tracks.
Yeah. It's deathcore, but yeah.
I was like, God damn it. For real? Like, come on. I thought this was so much better at Milwaukee Metal Fest. Was I just happy to be at Milwaukee Metal
Probably.
Fest?
I was so at Milwaukee Metal Fest. I remember because like I said, I only wanted to go see like one or two songs, and I was like, we'll just go see a couple and then we'll move on. And we stayed for the rest of their set. We got there late, but we stayed for the rest of their set. And when you got done, you're like, I fucking love that. And I was like, yes, I got him into another core band because I like core music.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was definitely deathcore or with metalcore, like they're all core aspects, right? Yeah. But I got that vibe for the first like 2 or 3 tracks. I was like, fuck, it's good. It's just not great. Like, what the fuck did I see at Milwaukee Metal Fest? As the set went on and it got more out of that sort of deathcore vibe and got into like the rap aspects.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there were definitely like the solos and thrashy sort of aspects as well. I was like, fuck, this is where it's at. This is what I liked the most. But yeah, no, it did get better as it went on. There was like one song that was the main rap song that I started to like slip again. Like, I don't like this.
Oh.
But then there was a bit in the middle of the track where he's like, just go back to what you know. And then it goes back into the hard metal aspect. And I was like, all right, I do like this a lot. Like that transition of like solely into rap and then give them what they want and then going back into like your old, like clearly at that point in that song and probably on that album, they're experimenting a little bit, adding more rap elements to the song and then switching back into the metal. Like, I don't know. I loved it. It was really good after that point, after I realized what was going on. So I need to listen to their music a lot more to get more familiar with it. But as I've said before, this is sort of what happens with my bands that I like now. Especially my big one I point to is Amon Amarth. I saw them like 2 or 3 times live before finally listening to them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
This is my second time seeing them live, and every time it's like, I need to hear more. I need to hear more. I need to experience more. And then after I see them live, and it's like, let's fucking go. Let's dive into this. I learned the songs more than that way.
Right.
I just need to get better at that. I think personally of listening to bands' music outside of
a live aspect.
Outside of the live aspect, yeah.
What I like about core bands, and Paleface Swiss is like one of them in my mind because I only listened to like 2 songs and only one song that they played was Please End Me is like the one that comes up on my playlist all the time, is the core aspect again, but it's the beat and everything that I like. So I feel like it's easier for me to go to like a metalcore show or a deathcore show and just enjoy the music even if I don't know the music because of that aspect. Because it has the breakdowns, it has the
I mean, it all sounds the same. Every band sounds the same, so sure.
It does not.
So yeah, it's easy to go from one band to the other because it sounds just like the other band I heard.
It does not sound the same. There's different aspects of the songs.
There are. I agree with you 100%.
I get what you're saying.
There is a lot of similarities.
There are a lot of similarities.
I don't listen to it enough to be able to pick it out.
Yeah.
And I don't enjoy the shows enough to pick it out. I like my thrashy old school metal, the doom, like true doom metal. Like when I say doom, we just discovered there's more doom out there.
There's doom that's different than the doom that we like.
I want my doom. Yeah. The Mother of Graves, the Chemist, like that kind of shit. Like give me that doom. Don't give me this old school shit that you say is doom, and I don't think it
Christian
is.
doom.
Sure, yes.
But anyways, I like that aspect of this. And this night, I was out of it a little bit just because we weren't in the crowd because of my body. And like, I knew I couldn't be in the crowd.
And I've been there. Like we left a show because my foot hurt so bad. Also, we were at the House of Blues and we had moved back behind a pillar and couldn't see fucking shit. So I was just like, fuck this, let's just leave.
Yeah.
So that sucked. But we left that area because my foot hurt so bad. And so I know where you're at. I know that pain and whatnot, and it does suck. Like you can't control it.
Right.
So
right.
It does kind of ruin your evening, but I guess just get better and go to another show.
Go to the next show. Yeah.
There's always going to be another show.
But
so
even leaving, I told you like I disappointed that we couldn't be more into the crowd.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't want to be in like the middle of the pit or anything like that because that's not us, but at least
on the edge of the
like
pit.
5 rows ahead of us where like there was at least movement happening and the pit would run into you and stuff like that. I love that aspect.
I mean, we were at that Whitechapel show and we were basically in the middle of the pit the entire floor. So
the whole floor was a pit though.
It did make me reconsider my thought about getting
being in a pit. I did too. So Paleface actually asked all the women to go into the pit.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I couldn't see how many women were in there. I did see a couple tall guys, so I'm like, there was still guys in there.
There were a lot of women that moved in because I did see that. I watched over and there were. You would see the floor sort of a slow lower head count, sort of like weave in there.
Yeah.
And it was more of a circle pit than anything else, based on our vantage point.
Like what we could see.
It did look sort of ping-pongy and whatnot, but there were a couple guys in there as well. But I forgot about that. All the women. Unity, Texas did that on the boat.
Oh, did they?
They're like, bring all the women fucking in the boat. Show these guys what's up. Show them how to fucking pit. All you motherfucking guys, get the fuck out. Let the women have some fun for a second.
I honestly was like, fuck, I probably would have done it. Like, we met 2 guys on the boat, and they said, like, we'll take you into a pit.
Yeah.
They never did. But in my mind, I'm like, I just need to do it once. I just need to do it.
Yeah. It's, again, the
Whitechapel
show is like, this isn't that bad.
Yeah. Wage War, when we were at Concord, it was basically the same thing. The whole floor was just moving.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think I could do it.
Yeah.
When I feel okay. When my body feels okay.
Yeah. All in all, I left this show really liking Paleface Swiss. Needing to watch them again. Nasty, they were fine. Stick to Your Guns, again, they were fine. I enjoyed them a little bit more.
I'll go see Stick to Your Guns again if they're on a different bill.
Okay.
Like, not be like, oh, Stick to Your Guns is coming. Let's go see them.
Okay.
Like, I would see them
on a bill
with somebody else. Yeah. And I feel like recently there's been a lot of bands that I've been saying that about where I'm like, I enjoyed them enough. I will go see them again. But somebody else has to be there too.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
We definitely said that early on when we started this podcast of like, if they're in town, we have nothing else going on. Sure, I'd go see them again. Yeah. But like again, like you had mentioned with this Instagram thing, like we need to see it and hear about the show to buy tickets to it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went. To me, the highlight of the night, though, without question, is this fucking venue.
Oh yeah.
Thalia Hall to me was like, oh my god, this place is so fucking good.
Like, I could not imagine this at House of Blues.
It would have sucked.
It would have sucked. We would have left probably.
Oh, for sure.
Like, we wouldn't have stood back by the bar.
There's shows coming up at House of Blues where like, we really want to see this band. We're not going.
Yeah.
Like we legit said, fuck House of Blues. We're not buying a ticket to this.
Yeah.
Like it's gotta be a really, really good fucking show to see a show at House of Blues from now on.
Yeah. Now I'm really trying to think of like, I mean, Whitechapel was so much fun at House of Blues, but I don't know.
You could have had that much fun somewhere else with a better fucking venue, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a different conversation. It's got to be a really good show. We will see a show again at House of Blues. I almost know we will.
I know we will. Yeah.
But
it's gonna be a long time though.
There's almost a hard stop now. Where it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But this venue, as I said, it's not convenient to get to. I will suffer that inconvenience to see a show here. Yeah. And even though this show to me was maybe a 7 out of 10, if I had to give it a rating.
We don't rate our shows.
We don't. But if I had to, it'd be like a 6 to 7 for me personally.
Yeah.
With the venue, 9 for me. The venue knocks it up 2 points for me.
We might have to go to a different type of show to go back to this venue.
Which I am perfectly fine with. I know you not so much.
I'm the one that's like, let's see what it is first.
This fucking place is amazing. So the show was amazing, but the venue for me, they stole the show. Sorry, the venue is fucking awesome, and I love venues, so I pick shows for venues.
We didn't even talk about it that on the stairwell up was a chalkboard.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I have a picture.
I do too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yours might be better than mine because mine has like a light glare on it. But somebody hand drew Paleface Swiss and the band members with chalk on the board. I don't know if it was the band. I don't know if it was the venue who did it. It was fucking amazing.
Kuma's always has a drawing like this, not as good.
No.
And the Rev Brewing has another chalkboard. They do a lot of chalk art as well on there. But this one was fucking great. This was one of the best I've seen here.
Yeah, we'll throw it up in the video. So.
this venue was awesome. All the bands were really good also, don't get me wrong. But the venue for me, they stole the show. I'm happy we finally fucking made it to Thalia Hall. It was such a great venue.
Yeah. Now we can tell people, yes, we've been there.
So, go check out new venues, check out new music, just go experience live music, even if it's at the Tonk or just a random ass restaurant bar type thing. So live music's awesome. You're going to have a lot of fun. So go check out a show and maybe we'll see you there.
Bye.